What is going on, guys? This is the Digital Cypha, and we are here another Saturday, July 10th. How is everyone doing today?
I'm good. I'm a sleepy guy right now. It's been a long week. Experiencing many technical difficulties,
Oh,
but
wow.
I am still here battling against the Skynet while I'm here in Discord.
Hey, man, you gotta protect your manhood over there, sir. You gotta know your technology. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's interesting. Uh, Dio, what's going on with you?
Oh, doing pretty good. Enjoying Final Fantasy. Happy to be here.
Nice, nice, nice. It's been a interesting, semi-boring week this week. But what was interesting was the state of play. That happened this week. So that we're gonna talk about that as well as Assassin's Creed. Um, oh, calm down, calm down, relax. Don't do it.
I'm
Alright.
fine. I don't know what
Okay,
you're talking about.
okay. Brother across the pond is about to go postal for just two words, Assassin's Creed. I don't know what's gonna happen. What is it? What's the number over there? 119. What's your emergency number in London?
Oh, 999.
999. Dang.
Yeah.
Okay. So, um, we gotta get that number ready. Use my NordVPN, Sam in London and whatever. Um, so anyways, Ashes of Creation. What's going on with that?
They actually just had their first official alpha open to the public, and
No.
they're actually allowing people to stream it and show their gameplay on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've shown stuff before with just the devs, but this is pretty cool that they're letting content creators, play the game and show their perspective, and it's looking really good. It's looking like a pretty great game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, High hopes for it. They
So,
did announce some more package deals for
like a founders pack type of thing.
correct. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which to me, to be fair, don't seem too bad because there's definitely no pay to win. I'm not crazy about cosmetic stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
everything there is cosmetic. Also, they allow you to try out the alpha, so you get a guaranteed alpha pass or beta pass depending on the package you buy.
Okay.
So they're pretty good. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Now, from my understanding, Ashes of Creation is that an MMO that allows you to benefit from the resources in your environment, right? So it's almost like a economy of its own, and that
Yep.
shifts the different territories based on who's doing what in that world, outside of just regular PvP PvE content.
Correct. Yeah,
That's
like
cool.
the world is definitely going to, at least from what they've advertised,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see more with more gameplay is available, that the world will actually adapt to how players play. Um, Actually, one of the features that they were showing yesterday was that the town had to vote on who they wanted to be the mayor of the town, which was pretty cool.
Okay. And the mayor was gonna be an NPC or an actual person?
An actual person, and that
Ooh,
person gets to dictate how much taxes are in their
it's gonna be
little
me.
cabin.
Hmm.
You could. You could try that.
You need to get your laptop ready, sir. Okay. That is very interesting. Ashes of Creation.
Yeah, I would definitely check it out if you haven't watched anything about it yet. The graphics are pretty decent. The combat seemed like it's pretty fluid,
Mm-hmm.
very responsive. I haven't tried it out myself yet, but I'm definitely more interested in it than I was before. The more I see of the game.
Bro, I've been on that list to get a beta invite forever. I doubt I'll see anything until it actually gets released.
Uh,
It's
yeah,
and,
unless you buy one of those package deals,
and I'm
then it's
telling you,
guaranteed.
yeah. But that's pretty cool though. that system is existing, gives players the ability to, you know, do something like. So you're saying that they're able to rule an entire kingdom, which I'm assuming there are multiple kingdoms in that world, but you know, is there? I mean, you might not know, but the veto process, can I assassinate the person from being in leadership? I mean, hey, I'm just asking the questions
This is
to see
like
to see
right
to
now,
see if it's possible to do it in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's a video game, so you know, these are certain questions that people are gonna have when they play the game. You know, I mean,
This
of
is when you
course,
just log off as soon as you get in there.
I'm just asking because, I mean, let's think about it for a quick second though, right? Is that a permanent position? Can a position be obstructed by alternative means outside of the voting process? You know what I'm saying? As a person who's playing in the world, like if I jump in and this person's already ruling and I do certain things that affect him as a ruler, you know what I'm saying? Will he send a hit squad after me? You know what I'm saying? To keep his territory in place. You know, there's these questions. So
Yeah.
you know, and if that happens, can I go and assassinate the dude? You know what I'm saying? I'm just asking the question. So, anyways, so that's pretty cool that those systems are out there.
Oh yeah,
How-
definitely to check out.
How do you feel about the Switch Pro?
Well,
the newest release of information that came out, I should say.
yeah, so it's not really the Switch Pro I think everyone was expecting, right? Like they were expecting like graphical updates.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are some updates to this. The screen is slightly bigger.
Mhm.
It's gonna have a natural Ethernet cable outlet for like the system itself.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have a longer battery life, and I believe also there was one more thing. It's just I'm having a brain fart about it, but
The OLED
I mean-
screen. The giant new sexy screen.
yeah, and I mean that's cool and all, but
There's
it's
a but.
you know, yeah, it's not all these things that were being leaked. You know,
Right.
we're like
Yeah.
seeing these higher graphical qualities and all these other things, and it's really awesome that little things like this are coming, but it almost feels like what's the point of buying this if you know the other one is right around the corner, right?
And I see,
Mhm.
I was assuming that the Pro would have came out this year because we're talking 4K, you know, some kind of 4K-ism to it. And I was pretty much hyped for that, mainly because I didn't get the original. And you know, when the Switch came out, I was like, oh, it's a handheld, it's not a console. Well, the Switch originally is a console, yes, but
Yep.
you know, you put the controllers, you connect it to the screen, and then you walk around and play with it. And then they brought out the one that everything is combined into one thing, so you
Yeah,
can't
it could
move
be
it.
like a hybrid.
Yeah, and then they brought this one out, which is basically the original, but then updated.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if they mesh both worlds together, but it's not the Pro, so it's kind of like, you know, why is this a necessary thing?
I heard some. I don't know if there's any truth to this per se, but
Rumor.
rumors. The kind of theory what I've kind of stuck around with is that maybe the Switch Pro, from the rumors we've heard and what was been leaked around for a long time, that didn't become a reality because of the chip shortage. What's going around? Maybe it was easier for them to actually release this OLED kind of new model, non-Pro model, just for the time being.
Makes sense.
Maybe I'm not understanding this clearly, but when I hear chip shortage, I'm talking about any chip, all chips.
Yeah.
So where did they get enough chips to create this new stuff? You know, they have like a
this is
backlog of
the thing.
Switch
Well, it's
chips.
like you look at the internal of the new Switch, right? The power's all the same, right? All they're doing really is putting an Ethernet port, giving you a fancy new screen.
Yeah, it's some more storage.
Yeah.
That was the last thing I forgot.
So I feel like a lot of the basic components are already there. They're just switching some stuff out rather than actually giving you a pure hardware power upgrade.
I would like to see that breakdown, because if the OG Switch, the contents of the OG Switch is in the new one coming out, you're basically rebuying the same thing with a bigger screen. And because
I mean,
you know,
that's why I think a lot of people are mad.
Yeah, that's really what you're doing,
got you. Yo, that's
and you're not even really rebuying it. It's $50 more than the base Switch.
Hmm.
wow.
So
And like, I'm not brushed up on my Switch knowledge, but a lot of games, I don't know what they run at. It's like, what, 1080p, 720? Something like that. I don't know if anything runs at 4K.
not all of them.
I think,
Yeah.
Nothing runs at
Yeah,
4K,
which is the thing, like, you
not
got
at all.
this 4K OLED screen, it's like, why?
I thought
Yeah.
like the OG
I-
was
I
720,
really-
right?
Yeah,
I think it's 720. Yeah.
like, I don't see why they've put this screen upgrade in there. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Is it touchscreen?
First,
Is
yeah, it is, but most games don't really take use of it, honestly.
Hmm.
I haven't heard anything about the touchscreen functionality for Switch. That's why.
Yeah, no,
asked.
I didn't even know that was a thing until you said it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does have it. It's just that most games don't really use it.
Mm.
For the most part, the games that do use it are usually like, at least from what I've seen, like child games, like painting and puzzles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, then that brings to question. I mean, because not Nintendo, PlayStation is like selling, that controller like it's God's gift to gamers, right? With the haptic feedback and that touchpad on the top.
Mm.
The Switch should be doing the same thing and promoting that touch feature, to the getting some devs to utilize it completely at least. But would that be the right move? Is a question based on Switch's reputation, because they're selling more than a PlayStation and an Xbox combined for a couple years now. Would that be another icing on the top if they promote it that way?
I think people are satisfied with not caring about that aspect of it. I think they really just get the Switch for the portability,
Gotcha.
Yeah, I feel like touchscreen's kind of a given these days anyway, with most technology. Obviously, I think with the Switch being a handheld-like device, I feel like touchscreen is you would assume it's got touchscreen. Like with the PlayStation controller, I wouldn't expect it to, but it does.
Because I mean, when you look at the Switch, I guess you could say its bigger competitor is like mobile devices, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. Especially with Game Pass going mobile and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of which, we had a state of play for PlayStation.
Yeah. Yep.
It was okay. I expected I expected something more because of E3, but I'm only interested in 2 games that showed up, and I'll let you guys voice your opinions on how you feel about the state of play, but it just feels as though it was just another platform on YouTube to market what's coming soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll go before Dio, because I think I have a lot of a shorter opinion on this. I didn't watch it because I was just, I just time-wise it didn't really line up for me. But I generally don't really watch Sony State of Plays, mainly because I don't have a console, so it doesn't really, it doesn't really make too much sense for me to watch it. But for the general opinion I get from these things is that they show 1 or 2 or a handful of games, and that's about it, really. The last thing, the one they did before was Horizon Zero Dawn pre-E3,
Right.
and then they've done this one post E3. And the general consensus I get from it is they're never really mind-blowing events. They're just kind of, here's a couple games, Here's some gameplay, and that's about it. And from what I heard on this one in particular, like Ebonic said, post E3,
Yep.
you've come out with another mediocre showcase, and especially after Xbox came out swinging so hard at E3.
Well,
I
it
just-
was
yeah.
it was not a showcase. I can't call it a showcase. And this is just my opinion. Everybody is subjective, to think what they want, but this was basically like a show and tell. This is what we're doing. Scripted, video. There's nobody talking to you about where PlayStation is heading. There's nobody telling you what improvements they're doing to the console or to the software. It's just these are the games that are here, that are coming out. The difference between this one and the last one, the last couple of them, like the state of plays before was like one game, Ratchet and Clank, and Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon.
Yeah, and I get it because those were what the fans were looking for, right? I think they also showed Final Fantasy 16 at one point. I might be wrong.
Yeah, they did a few months ago.
So this one showed some content. I think it was 4 games or 5, I believe. Or maybe more, actually.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
about like 10.
I was half there because it was people were screaming about indies and why the PlayStation is not supporting the indies. And you have to ask the question, like, why are they saying that? And there was this thing that came across, and I think we discussed it last week, where PlayStation was charging indies $25,000 to have their game posted in the PlayStation Store, front and center, featured, stuff like that. Almost to the fact that while I was looking at my Twitter page, my feeds, right, of different people, somehow this PlayStation game came across. And I don't know if it was the developer, CEO, or anybody, but he was self-promoting the game. Hashtag indie, hashtag PlayStation, and I felt compelled to like and retweet. Because while I don't like how Sony manages stuff, PlayStation, I can get down with anyone, whether they're of a competitor, to Xbox and Nintendo or PlayStation. I can get with any developer self-promoting their game to get what they need, right? And that's the users to jump into their game. And it kind of breaks my heart when you hear that, because now a corporation is basically saying you're making a game, you want it front and center, you have to pay up. You have billboard style. So
Yep.
So during the state of play, they start showing some indie games. I guess I don't want to say it speaks numbers. You know what I'm saying? It shows. I don't even know if it shows level of support, right? Because it was so quick. There was so many games, right?
Even they threw it in there last minute after all the kind of controversy.
I couldn't tell you what they were, to be honest. They just showed some games, unless I pause the game and I take another look and draw interest into it. So the heavy hitter was Deathloop. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's an Xbox game.
You're laughing behind there, Dio. What's going on with you?
I mean, I get why Sony's doing it, right? Because it's their like next big game.
Yeah.
But in the end of the day, it's kind of like a misplay to me, right? Like, I get you're gonna have a whole year exclusive to this game, but I don't know how much of those proceeds still go back to the Bethesda. I don't know the split, but in the end of the day, your competition is getting that money, right?
Yeah.
So why is like almost half the show revolving around this one game? I definitely show the game, definitely give it like enough of time so you can make that money off of it, but a good portion of that showing was Deathloop, and that was kind of weird to me.
Well,
I mean, they did
Yeah.
show a lot of Moss Book 2. I never even heard of the first one. It was
Yeah.
a PlayStation VR game,
okay. Oh,
which was cool.
that's the rat or the mouse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
For a VR game, that is quite interesting because usually you don't see the body, you just see the arms, like the hands, and
Yeah.
a gun or a sword. So, but again, they're showing you a game that's slated to be VR, but looks like it's controller. So I want to
Yes,
actually see
yeah.
gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing. Like I'd rather see. At least if I was like a hardcore Sony fan, or like if I only had a PS5, I didn't have any other consoles.
Mhm.
I want to see why do I want to have this PS5, or even someone who's on the fence about buying one, right? Like even to this day, like the only thing that I would buy a PS5 for at the moment is Demon Souls. There still hasn't been anything else besides that I'm like, oh okay, I could get down for that. But everything else on this state of play was stuff that's gonna be on Steam anyway,
Right.
or Epic Store, or Xbox.
Yeah, I
know.
got the PS4 for Final Fantasy 14 because I didn't have a strong enough PC. I downloaded the starter version for Final Fantasy on the PC I had at the time, and it said nope. So, my brother-in-law was he's like, "Yo, man, I'm on this Final Fantasy. You should jump on it." It's like, yeah, all right. So I got the PS4 and got the Final Fantasy 14, and then God of War came out, and then I got that. But PlayStation Plus wasn't even a thing because of Final Fantasy 14 was I was paying for that subscription. It was free. So
Yep.
it's interesting.
One thing that stood out was that it seemed like in the comment section, a lot of people were very happy with the Sifu showing,
Sifu.
and I always thought it was an interesting looking game, but nothing's so. It's still a basic looking game to me, right? Like it's still something that
beat 'em
seems
up?
like it'll be kind of fun and kind of cool. Yeah, a beat 'em up. I think it has cool ideas, but nothing like where I didn't expect how many people were like really hyped for it. So I didn't know if that's just because they have a lack of options or
Don't go
it's
there,
just
Dio.
something I'm
Don't go
yeah,
there.
I don't-
Don't go
or
there.
am I just like not picking up on something? And then like they suddenly like put in the end of it 2021 and then it like flipped to 2022. So it's like okay,
No.
it's getting delayed. Yeah.
No. Wow.
Which I think it was like the most terrible way to show a delay, you know what I mean? Like at least have like the devs be like, "Hey, we're sorry to say, but this is gonna get delayed because of whatever reasons." Like, no,
Yeah.
just flick the
No
numbers right
way.
there. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: do you remember seeing the reveal of Sifu?
Yeah, I remember it. I thought it was cool looking. I always thought it was a cool looking game, but nothing where it was like, "Oh, this is like the next big badass game I can't wait for." You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you saw it, right? Comparing what you saw it then and now, because then was more of a cinematic trailer. Now they
Correct.
show you like actual gameplay, right? Did it
Yep.
change your opinion somewhat?
No, I mean honestly, it pretty much looked like the same game.
Mhm.
It didn't really feel better or worse, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was cool that they were showing the whole age aspect of the game, where your character ages and your character.
When they die, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because before when they were showing stuff like that, you couldn't really see, but this time you could kind of see little differences when he aged, like he was moving a little slower and things like that. But nothing I would say was so drastic that it still kind of feels like a game system that doesn't have any point in the game. But at least from what they showed, it just didn't seem like that much of a difference. Maybe when it actually launches, they'll get it more tuned. But from what I saw, it just seemed like just a number, pretty much.
I'm trying to figure out why he's aging though. Is like he dies? Does somebody take him? Put him back into training for another 50 years, and he comes back out. I mean, I'm wondering because this reminds me of Infinity Blade. Infinity Blade was a game by Epic Games. One of the first high quality mobile games running on Unreal Engine 4 at the time. This is before um, that MOBA that they created. Right.
Yep.
This happened before then, and the character would come out. You know what I'm saying? And he sees this tower. He's looking at the tower. He's like, he knows that the boss is there, and he's definitely gonna, you know, he has aspiration. You know, he's aspiring to get there. This is you, by the way. So as you're going through the land masses up to the tower, you're fighting different bosses. There are no enemies that are like, you know, what do you call them? Mobs. There are no mobs. It's just all bosses, one by one. One boss leads you to another boss up until the tower, and the tower leads you to like the god dude. And when you die, it says, "And years have passed, and your kin is now taking up the role that you have left off." You know, that type of thing. So when I think about Shifu, I don't know how you say it correctly.
Seafood.
Yeah, seafood.
Don't go there, dude. Don't go there. You know, what is the purpose for him aging when he dies? Because it's the same person. You know what I mean? It's the same person, but then he dies and then he gets older and then you fight. Do you fight the same area again in hopes to pass it to move forward? You know
I
what
think so. I mean, I don't know exactly, but I'm imagining this is like some kind of roguelike system
Mm-hmm.
because that's becoming a very popular genre of gaming now.
Gotcha.
I've
I have a question. Where's the term roguelike come from?
So the original game called Rogue was a game where you constantly would die, but you would go through the same content in hopes of beating it, and each time you would get kind of better at the game, but not have like real progression. It's a weird thing. Have you ever played like maybe Dead Cells?
No. I played a bit of Dark Souls. That helps.
Well, Dark Souls is no, it's not really a roguelike.
Yeah.
Pretty much like roguelikes are games where you make progression in the game, but it doesn't stick with your character. But the next time you play that level, hopefully
You've
one
got
of the
the
things that you've
knowledge
unlocked,
Yeah.
you have the knowledge definitely, but hopefully one of the things that you've unlocked on one of your other runs will come and help you. Like it's because it has like random, you know, generators.
Oh, is this? I want to say Binding of Isaac. That's probably a bad comparison.
No, that's actually a perfect example.
Oh, okay.
Yep, just like Binding of Isaac. Exactly.
Alrighty. Okay. Yeah, 'cause I always hear this like roguelike term. Like, where is this come from? Like,
don't second guess your skills, bro. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm assuming Sifu's gonna be like that because I don't see why else you would age. Unless, because I would assume that at a certain age, your character's probably just gonna end up just being completely dead, and then you'll start from the beginning, but you'll gain that knowledge from those prior experiences that will carry on somehow. Maybe, I don't know.
You'll be a Yoda, bro, flipping all over the
Yeah.
place. I'm just saying. But yeah, and I think I'm not recollecting on which game it was, but I swore that I heard that there was a game that was coming out on PlayStation day one on it was PlayStation Now day one at no extra cost. As long as you have PS Plus, you can play it day one with no extra cost. And that kind of rang with me quickly because that's what Xbox is doing. Now there is a little bit of a mess happening with the Xbox. Jeff, I forgot his last name.
Grubb.
There we go. Jeff Grubb. Forgive me if you're listening. Made a announcement, he suspected that Microsoft will be getting rid of Xbox Live.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking about this 2 minutes ago.
And this was way back, while everything was still paid for, including free-to-play games. Now that's not the case. Microsoft raised the price from $50 to $60 or something like that, and there was a little bit of a mistake that happened. What was like $100 and something or something?
Yeah, I think they basically almost doubled the price, right?
Crazy. and then
Yeah.
the community just like went lit
Like, hell no.
in a split second. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I think they they're
yeah.
blindsided by that one.
So the thing about it is like now they're still going through that phase where they're trying to phase Xbox Live Gold out and bring Game Pass in. If PlayStation is saying with the PlayStation Plus you get to play this game day one at no extra cost, can we assume that they're trying to play it safe because of what happened with the Xbox Live Gold? Me personally, I think Game Pass should replace Xbox Live Gold, but not at the expense of the customer, of the person. We as gamers, you know, I think it should be like transition from a parallel perspective. Like, you've paid for Xbox Live Gold, you have access to these games. You know what I'm saying?
You just have it by default, essentially.
You just don't have Ultimate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The one thing I am kind of mad about is that they don't provide me with the ability to pay for 12 months. I have to buy 3 months 4 times.
Yeah, well, I think that might be because I don't know how to word it necessarily, but my understanding was GraphJob tweeted that they wanted to, or at least they're thinking they want to get rid of Xbox Live Gold, provided the Game Pass numbers are there, right? I think they don't know how quickly Game Pass is going to grow. So I think instead of putting that 12-month subscription plan on and saying, I'm going to pay for 12 months up front and then they make it free in like a month, it's just like, it's a bit of a slap in the face to you. So I think they're trying to, at least to me, I read it as they're trying to limit that subscription you can pay for up front at once, just in case then they flip the switch and like, hey, look, Xbox Live is now free. That's my impression anyway.
So, with that being said, well, Dio, what are your thoughts about that? Because I'm still kind of, I'm still wondering, because I'm in my head I'm thinking like Xbox Live exists as a service, right? The servers are already running Game Pass completely. In my head, it's like they're just boom, like everything is Game Pass. You know, what was Gold is now Game Pass on paper.
Yeah.
In the code, you know what I'm saying? On everybody's computer is Game Pass. So Xbox Live Silver Gold exists. I don't know if it only exists in our brains because we've been conditioned to it. One.
Yeah.
Two, it exists as a service that is possibly non-viable because it's just sitting there, collecting dust, with a few people that still connect via Gold. Now, I'm not dissing anyone specifically, but as a business, when you look at your trophy case, right? And you move your trophies based on the most relevant ones that exist today. There is Game Pass, and then there is Xbox Live Gold. And then everybody comes to your trophy case and they're staring at Game Pass because, oh yeah, that is the awesome one right there. And then there's like 4 or 5 people that still look at Xbox Live Gold and say it was God's gift to man. You know what I mean? And I'm wondering if they're looking at it like, yeah, we got to find a way to handle this situation because Xbox Live is old.
It is old.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very outdated. I think it's very smart that they're combining them because it gives it more value, right? Because especially when you take someone like, let's say, a PC gamer who's used to playing on their PC and they don't have to pay a monthly subscription just to play games online. And that's how they look at Xbox Gold and PlayStation Plus. They're like, why would I pay for this subscription just to play online when I don't have to do that on a computer? But when you add Game Pass to that value, now it becomes something completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'll say that's definitely one of the bigger arguments for PC players when they're like, why would I ever play on console when I had to pay extra money on top of my internet bill just to play a game? even though they'll pay a sub to play Final Fantasy 14 or WoW, which is the same thing, but they don't look at it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So, but we're seeing some of that happening now with PlayStation, where they're advertising with the PlayStation Plus. You get to play a game for free day one.
Or maybe this is their way of trying to get ahead of the curve on. I don't want to say a Sony equivalent to Game Pass, but instead of having that, just build it right into their subscription service of PS Plus.
Well, it's not ahead of the curve because what I don't want is for gamers to get confused. Is PlayStation Now the platform that I need to be on, or do I need to buy a PlayStation Plus to play this game? You know what I'm saying? Will they put this from PlayStation Plus and then merge PlayStation Now together to be one thing? Or will they remain separate? Because, like I was talking to D probably yesterday, is that there's PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, PlayStation Collection. 3 separate services, right? Whereas Game Pass just has Game Pass. And the separate services are based on devices, not based on subscription. You play on your mobile, you play on your PC, you play on your console, you play on your TV, you play on a fridge, you play in your car, you play on your mobile watch. I mean, I'm just saying that it exists in different locations, but the different pricing tiers is based on what devices that you play on.
I think Sony's gonna push as much as they want, because they're still in this ego mode, right? Where they feel, okay, we have X amount of consoles on the market, because they're not just looking at their PS5, they're looking at their PS4 consoles. They still have a majority share of consoles out there, so they know that for the most part, a lot of their fans will pay whatever it is just because Sony's name and logo is on something. Just like how Nintendo is doing the same thing with this new Switch. They know a lot of Nintendo fans will just buy this new Switch, not because it's that much of an upgrade, but because Nintendo's name is behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
They're only going to switch until it gets to the point that they have to compete with like Xbox, and it's going to happen sooner than they have to.
They're at that point because when we look at it, and I'm not trying to fight you back. I'm just saying when I'm listening to you and I'm seeing it, because the first milestone of this happening is when Sony, not PlayStation, but Sony and Satya Nadella sat down and agreed on the whole Azure platform being used. Right now, Sony, meaning all of Sony, not just PlayStation. We're talking the movies, we're talking music, we're talking TVs and electronics and stuff. All of Sony. That president was with Satya Nadella, right? So maybe PlayStation still have the right to say we're not going to use anything Microsoft, or maybe they don't, depending on what the president of Sony decides. But my thing about it is, PlayStation downplayed Game Pass since 2019, right?
Yep.
And then with 2020, with Xbox Series X and S, because during that whole summertime, nobody was saying anything. Everybody was scared to say this is what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? And then finally on release of the Xbox Series X and S, and after the acquisition of Bethesda, In Exile, Playground Games, Obsidian, all these things, and now boom, Game Pass is now viable. And then now PlayStation is trying to play catch up for a company who has had Gaikai for the longest. You know what I'm saying? Like, now they're playing catch up while Microsoft has been acting out with this platform since 2019. So I don't want to be confused, because when I talk to somebody who's I go to work and we have these conversations, I'm like, PlayStation Now is now available for on PC and things of that nature. How you guys feel about that? And they're like, well, it's still not sustainable. I mean, it works, but it doesn't keep me in the game, because of the issues, the lags, playing games on a precision point experience those game that the games provide. So again, this week they allow you to download the games now through PlayStation Now. Another thing with Xbox, where PlayStation, really wanted to stay streaming. Now is a download thing. It for a company that has an ego problem, they're really playing catch up right now, and it's really starting to show. And I really think that they need to go back to the drawing board and really think about this process, because collections and PlayStation Now should be combined. PlayStation Plus should exist until it's no longer feasible. Xbox has been doing this forever. PlayStation followed with the PlayStation Live, or was it PS Live or PSN? Sorry, with PSN.
PSN, yeah.
On the PS3 going into PS4, it was free, and then people started paying for it. It no longer became an issue then, but it was an issue when everybody was paying Xbox Live. So there's just some things that I really think they need to reevaluate. They can catch up as long as they want.
I think Sony's problem is they need to streamline their services, right? They've just got so much going on. I guess the best way I can say is it's a bit noisy when you look at it. It's like, okay, I've got this option, this option, this option. But what's the best for me, right? When you look at, Xbox, okay, if I want to play online, I got Xbox Live Gold, or I can get Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate. They're your free options, and it's very clear what each one of them do. But yeah, with PlayStation, I feel like you've got all these options, but it's a bit convoluted.
It's just there. The games are just there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a category to things. There's a way you market them on your platform. When I launched the PlayStation Now for PC, I was underwhelmed with the collection of games that they had compared to Game Pass. Now, it's a starting point, yes. They're reaching out to third-party developers to get games in, yes, and that's great. And they need to do that stronger, because the stronger they bring their platform, that's the stronger all these other platforms like Nintendo and Xbox is going to try to retain their consumers, which means we get to decide what we want to do with our money at the end of the day. That's what we're looking for. But it just feels as though everything is still in beta with the PlayStation Now, and that's the problem.
Well, how I look at it is different.
Mm-hmm.
There's different ways how these people are catching up in different ways, right? Like, sure, Xbox is definitely ahead when it comes to how they're providing their services. They definitely have a way better consumer-friendly service model. But you could compare the same thing with like Netflix and Disney, right? Netflix is still ahead of the game when it comes to streaming, but at the end of the day, Disney has more money, right? They're completely different in that.
Well,
where
they also
Xbox,
they also have the studios too under their belt as well, I would assume, right?
I get that, yeah, but at the end of the day, PlayStation, no matter what you say, still has more consoles out there. They have more people who have more. There's just so many consoles. They had the biggest market share. The only one who's bigger than them right now is Switch, technically.
Yeah, well, this is something I've thought about as well. I feel like Microsoft's making a big push on that PC market is because the console market share is already taken by PlayStation, right? They've got the majority, and it's hard to get people to switch over. But I think Microsoft's tapping into that PC world now. They're like, okay, if I can't get PlayStation people on board with the system, how do I branch out and get people on board? Is through PC people, right?
I think Sony's trying to branch out into the PC market because when you look at what Sony delivers for the most part, it's just like those single player movie experiences, right? And not that PC doesn't have that, but I think they kind of want to just be like the person that you go to for that. I think that's what they want to be, their niche. So
yeah, I'm kind of in the boat as well. I think they might be. Let's say it might be. I don't want to say they're moving into the PC market just because Xbox is in there, and I feel like Xbox is getting a head start and trying to take over that market share. And I don't want to say Sony's kind of scared that they're gonna dominate it, but I feel like it's definitely playing an impact.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just don't think that Sony's gonna be as successful in the PC market as they think they will be. I think most people who play PC games, for the most part, play for the multiplayer value of games. They definitely play single player games as well and have fun with them, but I think most people who play on PC, they do it because they want to play against other people all over the world, you know, whether it's PvP or cooperative. I don't know. It's just a different mindset. I feel like PlayStation is definitely a lot more single player centric compared to Xbox in general and PC in general. I would even say
100%.
Nintendo. I feel like Nintendo is even more has more co-op stuff to do, even if it's local, right? If they have a lot of localized stuff.
Yeah, you can tell like each company kind of has their own, I guess, USP. I guess is the best way to put it. You know, you come to Sony for these action adventure games, where super high quality, very cinematic. You know, you go to Xbox Live for these big multiplayer experiences. You know, there's a lot of great single player games there too. Then obviously with Nintendo, you've got a lot of kind of smaller variety experiences too, with a lot of local co-op. But yeah, I do agree. I feel like Sony's in this weird place where they make great titles, but I feel like it's they're only really good on their system at the minute. It's hard for me to see them branching out into other markets like the PC, like you said, unless they're actually going to bring a better variety of kind of games to that service.
Yeah. I would even say like it's kind of interesting to see like with this last state of play, a lot of the games that were kind of interesting for a player like me that are multiplayer are not exclusive to the PlayStation. They're things that are going to be on a computer also, whether it's Epic or Steam. So it kind of shows that I think Sony understands what their weaknesses are, but they're not going to go out of their way to develop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to outsource pretty much. Where I feel like Xbox, on the other hand, they saw their weakness was like role-playing in single-player games, and what did they do? They obtained Bethesda, they obtained Obsidian, and stuff like that. So a very completely different way of going about it.
Yeah, like Dom Toretto says, bro, you got to keep it in the family.
Yeah.
So, I'd say I feel like Xbox is definitely kind of keeping it all in house instead, like you said, outsourcing. I feel like that's fine, but I feel like that's not necessarily a strong point for Sony.
It's not, because then, like, you know, like especially like with how their fan base likes to claim all exclusives, and you know, only we have it. At that point, it's like, okay, well, I don't have to get your console to play. You know, what was it? Tribes of Midgard, for example, or Hunter's Arena. I could just go get them on Steam right now if I want to.
Right.
Still waiting for the server to go up for Hunter's Arena right now.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, the servers. I jumped on because so it's $19.99 on Steam, and then they have a sale for $9. Right
Oh,
now.
okay.
And got it, downloaded it, run it, and you know all the servers. There's 2 EU servers. No, sorry, there's an EU server, American server, and 2 Asian servers, and they're all down. So.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So it's still an early. It's still there. You know what I'm saying? They're developing the game, and it's just an early bird thing. But I was hoping to at least jump in a little bit of something. But
yeah.
You know, speaking about the situation where you know things are not really fitting well, you know, Assassin's Creed has this this situation where the next title is called Assassin's Creed Infinite, and a lot of noise has been going across the interwebs.
Yeah.
Don CJG is a little bit, you know, on the postal side, so I'm gonna let him get his frustration.
Yeah,
out
I'm coming in
that
hard on this one. Man, I remember seeing this news when it broke on Twitter, and I was so I was not happy about this. So my kind of history of Assassin's Creed, I've played most of them since they've came out. I think the only ones I didn't play really were the one that came out on 360 exclusively, and Syndicate, and then Valhalla. So I played a ton of them, and I've been very on and off with the franchise, right? I feel like it got a bit stale, and they took that 2-year break and brought out Origins, and Origins that's fantastic, but it definitely was a very different game. In Odyssey and Valhalla, yeah. So I'm very like love-hate relationship with this franchise, and I know Ubisoft have said they want to go into this live service kind of free-to-play kind of game style, but I feel like Assassin's Creed was this very pure franchise. What now? I feel like they're just trying to monetize it, man, and I'm not. I know they. Well, listeners' rumor kind of said that it's gonna be still a single-player game, but it's a live service single-player game. So I don't know how that works, but I'm just not really happy with the fact that Ubisoft is kind of, at least to me, I feel like they're just milking this franchise out now, and just butchering it a little bit.
What do we know
to be
so
honest
far
with you.
about this?
From my understanding, it's a single-player live service game.
Yeah.
Spanning across multiple locations and eras? Question mark? I don't know if eras was part of it, but
So it's not even an
Seems-
MMO.
no.
That
I believe it's literally just a single-player Assassin's Creed live service game, which it just doesn't make any sense to me. But I
I give you
guess
the perfect example of comparison. The Avengers, right? I mean, it's meant to be multiplayer, but I mean, no one else plays it, so you're playing by yourself in that live service game.
Bro, you just trashed the whole conversation, bro. You basically says, let me just end it by saying this and drop the mic and walk away.
Well, to be honest, like, yeah,
Avengers.
yeah, I just don't get the motivation behind. I do, but gameplay wise, I don't get the motivation. I think this
Yeah.
is purely a financial decision. They're like, hey, look, we want to make more money. This is our biggest franchise. Assassin's Creed is huge, makes big numbers.
Wait, what happened
But I
to
just
Sam
feel like-
Fisher? What happened to Sam Fisher? Splinter
Yeah,
Cell,
This is never coming back.
Prince of Persia people, Beyond Good and Evil people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they delisted Magic and Dual. What was it called? Magic and Might or something like that. Some stupid thing they did. So I'm like, okay, what else? You're Ubisoft. You're a third party publisher. You have all these studios under you. How much more money you need to make a game that you've been advertising?
Well, you know,
forever?
I feel like Ubisoft, right? They make great single player big games like Assassin's Creed, brilliant.
Mhm.
But then they also make these weird games, like just weird little games what no one cares about, like Steep.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
who was asking for Steep?
I was playing
Right,
Steep just a
yeah.
while ago. You talking about me, right?
No, but
I
stuff
mean,
like that. And then
it was-
once
it was
again, they
okay.
announced the E3.
It was okay.
It's just these bringing out weird games. Like, why? I'm sure this is a great game. I'm sure they got passion behind it, but no one was asking for this.
The one thing about the Ubisoft, here's what troubles me. They brought out The Crew, right? The Crew,
Great game.
Very great game. Across the U.S. had a story. You know what I'm saying? Everything. Beat the game. Happy. Crew 2 came out. Played the demo. No story. Played the game when it's like, free weekend, whatever, and it was just like, it was like Need for Speed without the cops.
Yeah, so uninspired.
Yeah, it just I mean, I get it, but I was like, where was the magic from the first one?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we see that with Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed 1 was good, definitely was good, the first of its kind.
Mm-hmm.
It followed after Prince of Persia. It was inspired by Prince of Persia, actually. And, Assassin's Creed 2, that
probably one of the best in the franchise, right?
led up to the Brotherhood. Revelations. When
Brotherhood and Revelations, yeah.
Bro, Revelations, you had your assassins assassinate people, and you just watch them get murked. I'm like, yo, that's it. That's lit right there. Black Flag, because Assassin's Creed 3 was good. My wife got to watch me play as a person of Indian descent. She loves seeing that. American Indian. But it wasn't. It to me it got stale quick because of the open worldness, right? But then they brought in Black Flag and the ship and the whole thing, and that caught me because I was never really a ship guy. You know what I'm saying? That led to Africa, right? As a DLC with one of your comrades that was in the game, which led to Origins, still in Egypt.
Probably one of my favorite.
That brought in some of the mechanics for Dark Souls. The whole dodging system that led into Odyssey. So you start seeing the trend.
Yeah.
Now to go live service, and what is multiplayer gonna be like? They stopped doing the which I hated that they didn't bring this back in, was a multiplayer where 4v4, everybody sneaking around, you have to guess who was who.
Well, they dabbled in a lot of weird multiplayer stuff for a while, didn't they?
But it was cool.
I know in Brotherhood they had that kind of 4v4 kind of hunter and hunted mode.
Yeah.
And then in was it Assassin's Creed Unity at this 4-player co-op mode. But like none of it really ever stuck around. And I know they've tried monetizing these Assassin's Creed games like XP boosters and the store and whatnot, but I don't know. I feel like this is a step too far in the wrong direction. It doesn't feel like a natural progression to me.
They were going up and then they turned a left and went somewhere else.
This doesn't feel like the natural path of where Assassin's Creed was going, and I don't understand.
Okay, so let's
consumer point of view.
Let's switch gears for a quick second and think about this from a positive light. Okay. How would this be lucrative to both the consumer and to Ubisoft? Is there a game out there, single player game, service that subscription based, whether it's free to play or not, that people are playing on, right? And they're enjoying it. The only thing that comes to my mind right now is the changing of worlds that they mentioned, or the going different places. But I would prefer changing of worlds than being teleported to different places, if that's the case. I would also like a co-op experience, Dio or DonCTG or both, jump into my world, or I jump into their world and we're assassinating, dictators or whatever the case may be. And it's cross progression, cross saves, along those lines. I would like to see 100 assassins running around. I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but and you have, actually what would be awesome would be Templars versus the assassins, where you can be a Templar or an assassin.
I kind of thought that was probably going to be the next thing they were going to do, because of, remember that game Hood, Outlaws and Legends?
Yeah.
I thought they would have did a better version of it, right? But with the Assassin's Creed twist, like how you're just saying, like they're like the assassins versus like the Templars, I think that would have been pretty badass.
Yeah.
I think they could have did it the right way. But I guess not.
I would see it as you being a part of the Abstergo. I'm not sure how you say it. Yeah, the corporation, and they have their own lore that you follow, right? Because that's the path you've chose versus the assassins, right? And the path that they've chose. So you guys meet up somewhere and then you gotta duke it off. You know what I'm saying? If you kill a person, you know what I'm saying, then there's a wanted poster for that person. You know what I'm saying? Who's the assassin, or vice versa. This person has risen the ranks of the Abstergo Corporation. We gotta take him down. Because he's changing history. That to me it makes sense. While Assassin's Creed as a franchise, single player story is still going on underneath. You have a live service happening on the opposite end, where people are getting their Assassin's Creed fix on. while they're waiting for the story modes or whatever to happen.
Yeah, like GTA Online, right? Kinda.
Yeah, I mean you can switch back and forth
Mhm.
with GTA, but I mean I might be saying blasphemy right now, but I would say from Assassin's Creed 1 up until Odyssey, if they kept that going, that would be a game of its own. And then Assassin's Creed Infinite or Infinity, if that's the name, would be like
Infinity, I
GTA.
believe.
Yeah, it would be like GTA Online on its own. Like you don't even have to buy that as free to play, and then there's just ways that they make money off of that. You know what I'm saying? Like Halo, and then the multiplayer Halo. Pretty
Yeah.
much. You know, they're
Yeah,
separate
keep it as
games.
its own separate experience instead of.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's my issue. It's like instead of just keeping another traditional Assassin's Creed game, they decided, at least for now, let's ditch that and do this instead. And I do wonder about the future of the franchise from here.
people will be playing old games. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, man, it's interesting to see this change, and outside of monetary value, I wonder what brought about this change.
They didn't bring out Beyond Good and Evil. They wasted so much money on cinematics and not delivering.
There's loads of games, right? Beyond Good and Evil.
Prince of Persia
what's
should have
it?
been remade and should have sold.
Yeah, they didn't
blockbuster
remake that
prime.
properly. They did
they-
what's that? The Skull and Bones, whatever. That's just disappeared.
Bruh, don't even mention Skull and Bones. I was ready for that. I'm telling you.
Right, and then they're making all these other weird games, and it's just like, I feel like Ubisoft is in a weird place where they don't know their identity right now.
I think
If I'm being honest with you.
they know what they want to do. I think like how, and this is just me, but like how PlayStation told Ben Studio that they couldn't do what they wanted because there's another studio that's doing something that they'll have to get in on. You know what I mean? I think that was the Last of Us 2 or whatever game that that was in development that Bent Studio had to do outside of the game, the passion project that they wanted. Is like, I think, in my opinion, and this is me, but Ubisoft has all these franchises, boom, across the wall, and they cannot pick one. You know.
Yeah, like people have been asking
because
for Splinter Cell for how long, right?
because it's kind of like, okay, they all are good franchises, but they're all, they serve their time. We need something new, something fresh. They can only think of Assassin's Creed, but they don't want to make another Assassin's Creed game. 4 years worth of development. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
like.
Well, going off what you said, it's more like an interesting thing. I feel like they're throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks, and I feel like
Yeah.
nothing's sticking.
Dang, dude.
So, I
That's,
mean, you
that's
could
cold.
you could even look at like something that's also another weird choice, right? Like Riders Republic. You look at it like, oh, that looks
Yeah,
like an interesting game,
that's the name. Yeah, I've been trying to think about that name for so long.
but it's like
That's
buy
it.
to play when it looks like a free to play game.
Right.
I
you
was
know?
thinking that was gonna be the joint.
Yeah.
Right. If I was free to play, I'd get it. I'd be like, okay, cool. I'll jump in on this, check it out. But I'm not gonna buy that game. What's it gonna be like £60? I'm not spending £60 on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No
it's
you
the
had,
way.
basic edition.
you had 100 people on a glider going through hoops.
I'd be surprised if 100 people buy the game to get in a lobby.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, I'm sorry, but who asked for Riders Republic?
Steep, the people of Steep,
One of two people who bought that game,
minus me,
Or Rainbow
by the
Six
way.
Extraction.
right? For real. I
Um,
just feel like they've lost. I don't want to be horrible about Ubisoft, but I feel
But
like
it-
they've lost our identity
When you
right
look
now.
at Riders Republic, it seems to be like Crew 2 and Steep and all the other sports game combined in one. Like I wouldn't.
Yes.
What's the other one? Descenders. They published Descenders too. If
I
is that
think so.
I might be wrong,
Maybe.
but if it it's just crossing my
I see,
mind.
I
as
see the
think of it.
comparison. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like they're looking at the community of people who play these types of games and say, let's do it all. and in comes Riders Republic. But to me, you make Assassin's Creed the way you've been making Assassin's Creed, but better. and put Riders Republic as your free to play. That would make you more money, in my opinion, than doing that. Because I mean, unless they have a proven strategy, game design document that says this is our analytics, and we know for sure that people are gonna jump on this game, Assassin's Creed Infinity, then by all means. But
I think they're hedging their bets on the popularity of Assassin's Creed, but it's gonna do well.
But based on their show, E3 showcase, I think Riders Republic will be the best choice for a free-to-play game.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But I mean, even like Rainbow Six Extraction, right? Like, to me, that seems like something that should have been like a game mode or a DLC to Rainbow Six, right? See,
I think it was like. I
Wait,
think the introduction of that was a temporary game mode at one point.
Is that a
And then they
separate?
decided.
it was for a season.
Yeah.
Huh.
Excuse me?
Is that a separate game on its own, or is it the actual?
Oh,
DLC?
yeah.
Yeah.
Separate, full price game.
What?
Yeah. Right. I'm sure a couple people liked it, and I'm sure we got positive feedback. But make a whole game out of it, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, even the concept of it, right? Like with the whole, I guess, alien or whatever it is that they're fighting in it. I swear, I'll say this until the end. That's something that should have happened in the Division. Like fighting
Yes.
people and clipping out on people with t-shirts and baggy jeans and having a clip like 2 clips into them like until they finally die just never made sense. This is something that should have happened, even if it was like progressively, right? Like if you started off with humans and all that stuff, cool, whatever. But at least maybe the next DLC or whatever in Division, that's what should have happened. Or even with Division 2, that's what should have happened. But
I think it should have happened in Division 2.
I don't know.
They have enough resources to put that in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
for sure.
I don't mean to sound like I know anything, because I don't. But when I played Division 2, Don CJG played Division 2. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Dia has. We just never played, together on the game. But I don't think so. But when you look at the game, right, and all the different aspects of Division 2, like they can even in Division 1 they had like a sewer aspect of it where you had to go to the sewer and do stuff. That would have been a perfect place. I mean, people were speculating zombies at one point, for the Division. So I'm looking at this and I was like, okay, this would be perfect for Division and bring people back
sense,
to
right?
Division. Yeah. It's
So
a
I feel
virus. The virus turns people into these things. Why not?
For real, I feel like the gameplay doesn't make sense for it too. While I feel like with Siege, especially on console, I don't feel like it's a very Twitch shootery game. I don't know if I don't say it feels a bit clunky, but it doesn't, it doesn't mind me like a Call of Duty or a Halo, or where I feel like the movement, it's getting centered on movement. But you're playing now this stealth alien mode. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if you got to dump a couple clips into this alien bad guy and you can barely run around, you're a sluggish character in Siege, man. But it just doesn't make sense to me on so many different levels. This is my thing. I just feel like once again Ubisoft's just throwing at the wall and say, hey, look, maybe this will work.
Yeah,
Well,
I really don't.
We just have to wait and see, honestly. But I'm not gonna have my hopes high. If it blows me out the water, it blows me out the water based on gameplay, pretty much.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it'll be fun, right? I think that's what we all want as gamers in general.
Yeah.
We want good games to come out.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Like, I think having good games is great, but
It doesn't look hopeful.
yeah. For Ubisoft right now, it doesn't look great. But hey, look, if rumors of Ubisoft games coming into Game Pass, if that ends up being true, I think it could do them some good. Maybe stuff like Rainbow Six Extraction will do well.
Well,
Siege already in there.
They did try to have their own place with Google Stadia, wasn't it? Where they had like a place to show all their catalogs of games.
Yes.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another step.
And so we know they're hungry. That hunger is in the wrong area. But
Yeah.
hopefully something good comes across this coming week. Guys, this is the Digital Cypha Podcast. It's been a crazy week this week with Sony's State of Play Ubisoft's decision to go live service. Um, you know, and we just ask that you continue to, you know, peep the game, see what's going on before you shell your money out.
Yes.
Definitely. The game that we're watching right now is Final Fantasy 14. There have been some people who jumped into the game coming from WoW. It's still fresh behind. Yeah, it's still fresh behind the ears. You know, you're gonna see some reviews out there. You know, the level cap is 80. So if you see somebody from WoW talking and they're level 10, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. You know, come talk to your boy Dio. He set you straight.
Yeah, like I don't even want to give my full opinion on the game because I'm not even like halfway through leveling. It just doesn't seem very fair, especially when I see a lot of these people who are making comparisons. The same complaints they have with World of Warcraft are literally mechanics that exist in Final Fantasy 14, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. It's just that it makes you look disingenuous, right? Like when you were looking
like some
at one
form
game
of favoritism,
favorably.
in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you're just doing it for views in general, right? Because you know
Yeah.
that's what's gonna be clickbaity.
Yeah. But it is a good game if you have.
It is.
If you have $12, you know, or actually there is a update that they made last year that you can play up until what, level 30 each character.
Level 60.
Level 60.
Ooh.
That's 2 expansions. That's
Yep.
a Realm Reborn and Heavensward that you get to play for free. So it's on Steam, it's on PlayStation. So definitely get that.
And there's no time limit to that as well.
There's none. So
You could just keep playing 60 if that's what you want to do, or play every class until level 60.
word. But guys, that is it. This is the Digital Cypha Podcast with Ebonics, Dio Zales, and the Don CJG. If you like what you've heard, or you enjoy our channel, please feel free to subscribe and hit the thumbs up. If you didn't like, you know, feel free to hit the thumbs down. But also leave in the comments, you know, because we're always looking to improve. So until then, you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.